He's back, folks.
I'm back.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he's back, and now he's just come out with his latest video in where he is comparing Trump supporters to Nazis.
I grew up in Austria. I'm very aware of Kristallnacht, or the Night of Broken Glass. It was a night of rampage against the Jews carried out in 1938 by the Nazi equivalent of the Proud Boys. Wednesday was the day of broken glass right here in the United States. The broken glass was in the windows of the United States Capitol. But the mob did not just shatter the windows of the Capitol, they shattered the ideals we took for granted. They did not just break down the doors of the building that housed American democracy, they trampled the very principles on which our country was founded.
Yeah, last I checked, folks, in my history books, Trump supporters weren't the ones that were part of the Holocaust that murdered 6 million Jews. No, that was by a man called Adolf Hitler and actual Nazis in Germany during World War II.
The German laws enforced in Hungary were only the beginning of the persecution of Hungarian Jews. The Nazis had created a comprehensive plan called the Final Solution of the Jewish Question. It was Nazi code for the complete annihilation of the Jewish people. By 1941, Hitler's SS and police forces had become mobile killing units, initiating the first large-scale murder of Jewish citizens, both by firing squad and by mobile gas vans. In 1942, concerned that their existing killing methods were not efficient enough, the Nazis had completed 3 extermination camps in Poland.
In April 1944, having already exterminated millions of Jews throughout Europe, the Nazis turned their attention to the last Jewish community that remained, 500,000 Jews in Hungary. The war was almost over, but the final solution was proceeding with speed and efficiency. We had heard rumors of mass shootings of Jews in Nazi-occupied Poland and in the Ukraine. Then in the spring of 1944, local officials announced that the Jews in my town had 24 hours to get out of their homes with 1 suitcase each and assemble at the town hall. We had no idea what would happen to us. A delegation made up of the mayor, police chief, and my school principal arrived at our house demanding that we hand over money and valuables. People always say, rationalize, okay, so we give them some money and jewelry and, okay, just leave us alone, type of thing. And so I know my father gave them some stuff, but he didn't have, by this time, he never had a lot, he had 6 children to support and we were okay, but, but that was after it was announced in the town that the next day, all the Jewish families should report at a gathering place in the town. So we already knew that we're leaving, although we didn't know where. Nobody ever said where. So, it was, everything was very scary, and for parents with 6 children, it must have been extremely terrifying if you don't know what will happen to your children and you can't protect them. After complying, we left the house. My father closed the gate behind us so that our dog wouldn't follow us. Along with about 100 other Jewish people in our town, my family was taken to an abandoned brick factory some miles away. There we joined thousands of Jewish families from neighboring towns. We were kept there almost a month in overcrowded conditions. Our food supply from home was quickly gone, and we became dependent on the daily soup ration.
Nazis ordered Jews to gather in a common area, leaving the bulk of their possessions behind for Nazi confiscation. The holding areas became known as ghettos. Most people who were sent to the ghettos had no idea that it was a staging area for transport to extermination camps. Irene was held in the Hungarian ghetto of Munkacs. There she endured many hardships and humiliations. Little did she know that it was the least of what she would experience in the coming year.
There were thousands of people there. They were calling it a ghetto, and there was no sanitation, and so they decided that, lice and that sort of thing. They had a legitimate kind of health reason, but the way they put it is they made an announcement and said, all girls under 16 report to have their head shaved or their fathers will be punished. We were not treated like human beings. They could have said it's a sanitary thing, it's to prevent, but I was so terrified, I ran to the place to have my hair cut because my father would be punished. It was always like that, so just cruelty. So my head was shaved. I had long pigtails at the time. And I wasn't so terribly upset about it because I already saw that my parents and my people were just being mistreated so badly. That's the least of it. The hair will grow back. But actually, I had no idea that it would give me the first cut at passing the selection when I got to Auschwitz.
In a strange twist of fate, the humiliation of having her head shaved in the ghetto would allow 13-year-old Irene to pass through her first life and death test by the Nazis. Though they did not know it at the time, Irene and her family were about to depart for one of the most lethal places in all of human history, the selection platform at Auschwitz-Birkenau.
And also, last I checked, folks, Trump supporters weren't the ones burning down buildings and looting and causing trouble and mayhem in America for the past several years. That was BLM, or Black Lives Matter, and Antifa. So, folks, if I have all my facts right, no, us Trump supporters, we are not Nazis. We are the farthest thing from Nazis, folks. And I know Arnold Schwarzenegger, in the video, he's talking about the riot of Trump supporters that went on to the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. Now, let me just say for the record, folks, I don't agree with what those Trump supporters did at the Capitol. To a certain degree. Let me explain, folks. I know those Trump supporters, the good majority of them, they meant well. And I would too if I was there. I mean, let's face it, folks. We had an election that was stolen from Donald Trump and the American people by the Democratic Party. I mean, to some degree, I understand how they feel, folks, because I feel the same way. I mean, we just got our country stolen from right under our noses, and it's not in secret. Everybody knows about it. Everybody knows the truth. And still they got away with it. So to some degree, I can understand what the Trump supporters at the Capitol a few weeks back were trying to do. But would I have done that? Stormed the Capitol? Probably not. At least not now. Now's not the right time to do that, folks. So, like I said, to some degree, I don't agree with what those Trump supporters did at the Capitol, but I understand how they feel, and I completely agree with them on that part. But back to my main point, folks. The fact that Arnold Schwarzenegger calls Trump supporters Nazis when we are the farthest thing from actual Nazis, like the ones that murdered 6 million Jews and Black Lives Matter and Antifa, I think those are much closer to Nazis than Trump supporters will ever be. And, let me just say for the record, folks, about Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger, you're a good actor, and I've got several of your movies on my shelf like this one. This is a good movie, pretty decent. You're a good actor, but that is the only thing you will be good at. Except maybe being a personal fitness trainer. I'm sure you'd be pretty great at that. But besides that, you will not be good at anything else. You are not a good politician. You are a terrible politician, and you were a terrible governor when you governed my state here, California. You ran this state like a liberal when theoretically you were supposed to be a conservative Republican, which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. And if you folks have ever heard his story of when he came to America, you know, he tells the story of when he first got here. He was broke, but he had big dreams, as every immigrant, I assume, has when they come here. Why wouldn't they? But anyways, when he first came here, he wanted to get into the political system, and he was kind of troubled between which two parties he should join, either Democratic or Republican. And then he heard a speech by Richard Nixon. I think he was running for president at the time. And Richard Nixon's speech inspired Arnold Schwarzenegger to become a Republican. But it seems like for most of his political career and life, he's just been a flat-out liberal, and his policies don't match up at all with that of what the Republican Party stands for and what conservatives in this country stand for. So it's quite strange, folks, and he doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, maybe due to the fact that he got hit several times on the head and on the body in his movies that he acted in. Maybe that damaged his head a little bit. But anyways, folks, that is what I want to talk about today. And Arnold Schwarzenegger, he just needs to really just keep his mouth shut, because he doesn't know what he's talking about when referring to Trump and his supporters. You know, he should be on our side, you know, helping us out and saying great things about us, because we're the true American-loving patriots. But instead, he keeps bashing us and saying nasty things about us, which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. So, yeah, that's what I want to talk about today. Thanks so much for stopping by and watching this video. Leave a like and comment, subscribe, join the United States. See you folks in the next video, whatever I make. Thank you folks so much. God bless you all.